Good morning, folks. This is Freedom Fighter. Today is Monday, July the 15th, 2024. Today, Goldilocks has shared two very powerful articles. The second one is in regards to Iraq, the International Chamber of Commerce. We're going to discuss and show that Iraq is now moving to the international stage as far as international trade, separate apart from the World Trade Organization, where they're in process of doing as well. But the first article we're going to touch on that Goldilocks has provided, if you don't understand what this article is telling us, it may go over your head. We don't want that to happen. We want you to be able to see exactly what's going on globally and as it pertains to the results of what happened on June 30th, almost 15 days ago, with MICA and the stablecoin regulations that have come out of Europe and become law, and which sets the blueprint for many other countries to follow. Let's jump right into the first article that Goldilocks has provided that takes us there. Signum Connect is an open blockchain protocol and a decentralized development toolset for Web 3.0 applications. Signum is the world's first regulated digital asset bank with its own messaging system. I'm going to read that again. And think of what happened on June 30th, the coming out of Europe with the MICA, markets and crypto asset regulations and laws that were implemented. Signum is the world's first regulated digital asset bank with its own messaging system. Signum Connect allows for the settlement of fiat, digital assets, and stable coin transactions for institutional investors, liquidity providers, stable coin issuers, brokers, and select exchanges. Signum has launched this new 24/7 multi-asset instant settlement network. Folks, when you think of multi-asset, what's an asset? What are the assets? Cryptocurrencies are assets. Paper currencies are assets. Precious metals are assets. Signum has launched this new 24/7 multi-asset instant settlement network as countries begin to move from T+1 settlements to instant settlements. This instant payment system will begin to expand across the world. T+1, folks, is transactions that may settle in 1 day. T+2, maybe 2 days. T+3, 3 day settlement for transactions. Well, T+3 is history. Gone. 3 days of transactions. T+2, 2 days of transactions being settled. Gone. T+1, we're right now, and also instant settlements. We're at that part now within the new system where it's beginning to come into fruition. So instant settlements, that's instant exchanges, instant transactions. It could be billions, trillions of dollars that are settled instantly. Currently, Signum Connect is operational in Zurich, Switzerland, Abu Dhabi in the UAE, and Singapore. Now, you may ask, why is this so important? Well, instant settlements, 24/7, multi assets, paper, digital assets, paper currencies, digital currencies, precious metals, now regulated, coming out of Europe. Zurich, which is in Switzerland, is Europe. Now giving way to the rest of the world to follow. Currently, Signum Connects is operational in Zurich, Abu Dhabi, in the UAE, and Singapore. Zurich covers, of course, also banks that are connected in Europe. Abu Dhabi in the UAE will be connecting in the Middle Eastern countries. Singapore for the Asian countries, including also the United States will be included in Singapore as well. So you have Zurich, which is in Switzerland, which is Europe, connecting European banks. Abu Dhabi in the UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates, covering the Middle Eastern countries. Singapore covering Asia, but also, like I said, the United States covered under Singapore as well. So think of the instant settlement system, the first in the history of the QFS. This is a moment that we've been watching and waiting for. Very profound, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let this go over your head. Let it sink in what happened on June the 30th with MICA, the markets and crypto asset regulations that went into law and were implemented in Europe as a blueprint. So you have to realize, being that Europe on June the 30th implemented the MICA regulations, other countries that do trade with Europe and all their countries must also be on a level playing field and on an even queue as well. That's why MICA sort of set the stage for the rest of the world to follow by MICA getting out of the blocks first. It was a historical moment that many people, especially here in the States, may not realize, because we're often looking for Iraq or Vietnam or a specific currency of a country to go before we think that we're able to exchange. You have to realize this is a process, and we're beginning to see the witnessing of the process and the regulations. We need regulations so that we can exchange, ladies and gentlemen. We see here now the first of what we're waiting for has happened. Regulated laws in place within the blockchain. What is blockchain? The QFS. What is QFS? A blockchain. So Signum Connect, an open blockchain protocol, decentralized, for the first time, regulated digital asset bank with its own messaging system, which is an instant settlement system, is now in place. With Europe being covered through Zurich and being connected, Abu Dhabi and the Middle Eastern countries, and Singapore for Asia, the United States also will be included. We encourage you to understand and know this very well. Now we're going to jump into Iraq. The International Chamber of Commerce has expanded its presence in Iraq with the official launch of the ICC, which is the International Chamber of Commerce of Iraq, at the ICC's global headquarters located in Paris last Wednesday. ICC will boost Iraq's economy and trade relationships. The launching of the International Chamber of Commerce in Iraq has already been in formation and has reached 92 countries as trading partners. Remember, folks, there's 180 plus countries. So here we have Iraq. They've already been in formation and have reached half of those countries as trading partners. The launching of the ICC in Iraq, it enables their shipping ports to move forward with the digitization of their shipping ports. The International Maritime Organization, which is the IMO, has said that Iraq is embracing the move to digitize its maritime sector. Goldilocks recently posted an article about the ICE Cutter, which is their automated digital system on the ports, whereas Iraq will no longer accept paper transactions do trade on their ports in paper currency, but moving to digital currency in the digitization of their ports. I'll continue. Goldilocks says, we are beginning to witness Iraq begin to gain international partnerships to launch and expand their ability for trade relationships that will literally put them on the international stage inside a digital asset-based trading system, or a digital asset-based trading system, meaning to be backed by precious metals, commodities. Goldilocks says, watch the water. I'm going to read that last paragraph again, and I hope it sinks in. We are beginning to witness Iraq begin to gain international partnerships to launch and expand their ability for trade relationships that will literally put them on the international stage inside a digital asset-based trading system. Basically, this will put them on the international stage inside the QFS, ladies and gentlemen. When Goldilocks says watch the water, this totally encompasses what Goldilocks is referencing in the statement of watch the water. When you think of Iraq being able to do trade with countries around the world in a new digital system that is backed by assets, think of all the countries in trade on ports of goods and services, whether it's wheat, coal, automobile parts, whatever it may be. You can think of that countries trade amongst each other, goods and services shipped on the water by ports. What happens to the country when they do trade around the world with all of these different countries with goods and services? What happens to their currency? Their currency, the demand for their currency begins to increase. Iraq was not in a position before with an old, antiquated system, outdated system in the Flintstone ages of a system where they were literally doing trade at the ports, at customs, all in paper. And it was in US dollars, not in dinars. Now we're moving to an era where Iraq will be transacting their business and trade in dinars. As of January of this year, it became law, literally law, passed law in the Iraqi parliament for all imports coming into Iraq must be in Iraqi dinars. Think of before when it was in the US dollar and not even tracked in a digital system, but by paper, but by hand, literally manual transactions, manual trade, where you have billions and billions of dollars being exchanged at the ports, hand to hand, amongst human beings. Can you think of the corruption? Can you think of the manipulation? Can you think of not the country not being able to track, literally cannot track the business and the transactions of the trade because everything is done by hand? That's what Iraq has been doing up until now. In the digitizing of not only their banking system but their ports. So here we have the International Chamber of Commerce. The International Chamber of Commerce is different, similar but different than the World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization comprises of over 160 some odd countries that have agreed through strenuous requirements to do trade amongst each other. And the ICC, the International Chamber of Commerce, is over 130 some odd countries doing trade amongst each other. But it is businesses, private businesses within the ICC that are doing trade with the countries that those businesses are located in. So you got the World Trade Organization representing countries and the International Chamber of Commerce representing businesses within those countries doing trade. So now you have on one hand Iraq covering the World Trade Organization with countries to do trade, and they're in the process there. And on the other hand, Iraq now with the International Chamber of Commerce, which are businesses within these countries to do trade with Iraq and other countries around the world. And think of digital. It's being digitized. We are witnessing Iraq being prepared for the international stage. Yes, it's a process, but they've come a long way to get to this point in the process now that we are witnessing. Stay grounded, stay loving, stay kind, stay off the roller coaster of the weekly roller coasters. Protect your energy, protect your mind, your heart, and your spirit. And as always, show someone unconditional love.